College is more than a place. It's a journey. Welcome to the Two Night Show, where we explore the moments and ideas that shape us and the impact we make through conversations with Green Knights and other inspiring voices. Today, our focus is on academic success. We're talking with Corey Ciesielczyk from the Office of Academic Success, Support, and Accessibility. We discover how St. Norbert College helps students thrive no matter their need, so they are set up to succeed from day one. Corey, thank you so much for joining us today. A lot of people probably know you for you being a basketball coach here at St. Norbert. So you've got a number of different titles here. You've got basketball coach, you're the athletics compliance liaison, and you also teach sophomore block for education students. Before we dive into your main office and your department, can you tell us a little bit about those extracurriculars?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that keeps me very visible on campus, especially the coaching. Coaching I've been doing with Coach Gresh now, I think I'm going into year 14 or 15. And then the athletic liaison piece came along a few years ago to work with students that were kind of on the edge of eligibility athletes. And obviously we have a large student athlete population on campus. We got around 600-ish student athletes. So working with students with any eligibility questions as it relates just academically.
Okay, so if their GPA is on that borderline.
Correct, yep. Or if they're figuring out how many credits they need to take, maybe they're finishing up their senior year last semester and they only need a class, getting them their clearances that. And then in my sophomore block, I teach one class teaching students with exceptionalities. And it's really working with the teachers to be working with students with special needs and exceptionalities, which with my background as a special ed teacher and at the high school level is kind of a great fit that way. And it really ties me into a whole nother population of students on our campus. And it's a great recruiting resource for us as far as academic coaches and stuff for our office. So
absolutely. Okay, so let's dive into the Office of Academic Support, Success, and Accessibility. It was called something different when I went here, so I'm trying to get it down. So give us a brief overview, and then we'll dive into more of the details that you guys do.
Yeah, our office. So I've been in this area now since I think it was 2013. And in our area, we pretty much support every student from every walk of life on our campus. Last year, in fact, we saw over 1,100 students in some way, shape, or form on our campus. So we're very busy, which is good.
Which is over half of the population.
Yes, correct. Yep, over half the population. And that's generally been the trend since I've been here. We work with students with accessibility needs. We work with students struggling academically. We work with students that are doing well academically. We hire a lot of student workers to help other students that are struggling. So our Office of Academic Success, Support, and Accessibility, really a wide swath of students. We're kind of a hub as far as place for students to get help. We also work with students that are on academic probation, and then we also work with students that are in our academic enhancement program, which are students that have been conditionally admitted to the college. So we teach a couple courses with that as well.
Okay, can you dive into that part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So our academic enhancement program is generally freshmen only, coming in with, maybe they just haven't reached their potential yet. Maybe they had a middle GPA, but high ACT, or maybe their writing essay was great, but their high school GPA wasn't as good as they want it to be. And we work with students on time management, reading skills, vocabulary building, and it's a one semester 4-credit class that we do every fall. And it's generally between 20 to 30 students.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
What a great way for students also to get introduced to college and how to learn time management skills and studying. That's really neat. So that leads me into my next question, actually. So you guys teach time management. You teach how to study, reading techniques, writing techniques. What else can students reach out to you guys for?
Yeah, I mean, we work with students for a wide array of things, whether maybe they're going through a tough time in life, where maybe they have to miss some time at the school. We work with students from maybe they got a medical condition going on, accessibility needs. Maybe it's just a student is maybe just struggling to get ready for tests. We do that. We also do test proctoring as far as for students that have accommodations established with our office. We also work with students that maybe are just kind of struggling to find their way. We do a lot of one-on-one meetings as far as professional staff. And then we also have a lot of peer workers for student workers for those students.
So I was looking at the list of things that you guys offer, the list of resources, and I noticed that you have academic coaching, academic peer mentoring, and then tutoring as well.
Yep.
Can you explain the difference between those three?
Yeah. So academic coaching would be our most intensive peer-led programming piece. It's a one-on-one weekly meeting with generally an upperclassman that has done really well here on the campus. A lot of times it's actually education students that are the peer-led, that academic coach. And that's really working on study skills, organization, really day-to-day management of life. Tutoring is kind of shrinking. It's more of a 2-on-1, 3-on-1, and it's more specific courses for underclassmen. We might get like a Psychology 100 tutor or something of that nature, but it kind of are tied in with the TAs on campus. And then academic peer mentoring is probably our highest impact practice in our office. We actually are seeing students that do this consistently over time, seeing a half grade higher result than students that have not in their classes. And we've seen this more in the classes where we were getting a lot of tutoring traffic, such as biology, chemistry, Spanish, stats. We just expanded to this year, social basic stats, I should say. So we're seeing that. And then we also have accounting as well, financial accounting in there as well.
That's really great. I know, especially when you're a freshman, like you said, the underclassmen, you might be overwhelmed with the number of classes that you might have to take if you're a biology major and you have to take bio, or you're a sophomore, you have to take genetics. It's so great that they have these resources and they have the people to help them succeed. And like you said, it shows that it really does show.
Yep. And those groups, it's class kids that are in your class. The APMs have generally had that professor, and they typically have worked through, labs and all those things. And it's kind of and those APMs are also working really closely with that faculty member to prepare the content for what those sessions are going to look like, and even test preparation.
If I am a student who wants to become a peer mentor or a tutor, how do I do that?
Contact our office. If you would like to do that, typically we're looking for sophomores in their last semester on up, with a proven track record of academic success. And they work directly with Brooke Gustafson and Tori McNeil in my office.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so the Writing Center, is that part of your office as well?
It's not, but it's a core collaborator with us.
Okay.
So they are located here in the library. In fact, they use some of our software in their office and tracking their numbers and such. But Dr. McDermott does a phenomenal job. We do a lot of referrals to the Writing Center for students that just are struggling with writing. In fact, I think some of the biggest gaps we're seeing for students now is reading and writing, right? And I think that's just technology and how it's evolved, so on and so forth. So it's a phenomenal resource for our students on campus. I think they do a great job with working on structure of papers. They have content-specific writing coaches, so to speak, in there. So they have a lot of different things for students.
Wonderful. I'm glad we touched on that.
Yeah.
So how do you work with maybe professors in order to, because I'm assuming there's a tie here with professors, like they might know that a student is seeking help. Can you talk about that relationship?
Yeah, we really have worked hard to build relationships with faculty across campus. I think that's the beauty of St. Norbert College, is classes are small. You have direct contact with your faculty every day. In fact, your best resource on any piece of content in that class is that faculty member. We always say, have you had that conversation with your faculty member? And then faculty are great about letting us know through our early alert system, midterm warnings, direct phone calls, emails. We get anything and everything from faculty walking in, just saying, hey, what do we know about this student? Is there something we can do to help them?
Because they really do care.
They do. They care a lot about their students. And I think our faculty are as good as I've ever seen across any campus. And they really take that learning to heart for the students and want to see them do well. I think they're really invested in their success.
Would you say there's a stigma around someone coming to your office, and maybe a feeling like there's a stigma and like there's kind of a barrier for asking for help?
Yeah, I think in the past, when I first started, yes, I think students have gotten really good about asking for help today.
Wonderful.
Just seeing how many students come through our doors every day. I think it's more so, hey, let's get this figured out and let's keep moving forward. I think that's always been the deal. We try to find, if we don't have the answer, we try to find the people with the answers. And really, it's going to be about how hard the student works and kind of takes on like, hey, I got to get better in this area. But I think the stigma as far as asking for help is starting to, just with so many resources K through 12 has now, I think they've kind of gotten to the point of, hey, we just know this area is, if I'm struggling, I'm going to get over here.
That's great. That's really great. Is there you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Is there any story that really sticks out where you were like, that is exactly why I do this?
Yeah, there's a lot of those. I think it's just seeing the interactions of students with my staff every day. They're phenomenal. With Brooke Gustafson, Molly Minster, Phyllis Eagle, and Tori McNeil, I just see how much they impact every student. So for me, that's an everyday thing. For as far as personally, I've seen some students that not a lot of people gave a chance, and they went through some tough times and found their way eventually at the end. We just recently had a student graduate that was actually academically dismissed from the college, worked with our office to get back into college, and kind of figured it out and graduated, after their sports season had ended. So those are the stories that always stick with me. Or students going through a really tough health time. I've worked with students that have gone through like battling leukemia, cancer, those type of things, and working through that and still getting healthy and finishing their degree because it was a goal of theirs. And my first question I ask every student is, what is your goal? What is it that you want to do? Mm-hmm. A lot of times it starts with, I want to get such and such grade. And then, a friend of mine, an old colleague of mine, Dr. John Miller, used to always say, and it was great saying, chase the learning, not the grade. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes you see people in those situations, when they embrace that, they really come out of those situations and it really works out for the best.
That's really, really neat, really incredible. And that's some of those situations are those unforeseeable circumstances. Right. And that's where your office is so valuable. And it's so impactful for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, right. And that's why we do what we do.
Exactly. Do you have any first year advice for students? Even especially with the academic school year coming up, yeah. What's your advice for students before they get in the classroom?
Well, one, enjoy their summer, right? I think sometimes we get so transactional in life that we want to get everything done, all our ducks in a row. And sometimes you got to enjoy it a little bit. Once you touch down on campus, know where your classes are. Be prepared to go every day. Introduce yourself to your professors. Read the syllabus, and start knowing, okay, this class might be a little tough for me. Let's ask for help early rather than late, and have some fun on campus. There's a lot of great stuff to do on our campus and in our surrounding community. Have some fun. This 4 years should be enjoyable. You're chasing your learning. You're trying to improve yourself as a person. You got to have some fun too.
I'm glad you touched on that, because you, with all of the different extracurriculars that you're involved with on campus, what would you say to students who are thinking about, say they are an athlete, or maybe they're in the band or the choir and they want to get involved with social groups or other organizations? How do you think those help them in the classroom?
I think it enhances your experience. You have a built-in network of people that are there for you, right? Your first, for basketball especially, your first friends you find are your teammates, right? Those are the first ones that you kind of connect with right away, and your coaches. But that expands. You get involved in other things on campus, you do other things, and all of a sudden by your junior year, you might be living with 3 people in the band, somebody that's a baseball player, and then a couple of teammates, right? So it changes and evolves. But I think get involved, do as much as you can without forgetting why you're here, right? Always, as Michael Jordan always say, you got to put first things first. You have to be a good student first, mm-hmm. and then everything else. But there's enough room, if you do it well and do it right, to do all of the things that you want to do and get everything out of the experience. It's got to be more than just what your grades are in a diploma. It's got to be the experience of college. I think sometimes we need to share that more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of getting a 4-year degree, is there are so many opportunities to do those extra things. Yep. And as a former athlete, I can say my time during season were our best grades, because you are so in routine. Yep. And we're humans. That's how we operate, is with routines. So
right.
It definitely helps being involved.
Absolutely. I think that's true for all of our athletes. In fact, our athletes' GPA is always phenomenal.
And really, I think I worry about my basketball players less in season than out of season.
Yeah, I can see why that would be.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I forgot to mention before. Say I were a student with a documented disability.
Yep.
How do I go about coordinating that with, what kind of resources when it comes to tests and things like that does your office supply?
Yeah, so it depends on each person. It's individualized. On our campus, in fact, when I first started, we had roughly 75 students with some type of accommodation, whether it's academic, dietary, or housing. Today, we're over 400 students. So it's exploding. I think part of it is the world has got better at diagnosing. Also, I think K through 12 has gotten better at supporting students through these things. I think the inclusion in classrooms has allowed more students to have access to college after the fact, which is a great thing. And so with a student that has a diagnosed disability or medical condition that is life-altering, they would share with our office their medical documentation. They would sit down. There's an interactive process where they sit down with one of our staff and go through really the barriers that face them on campus and barriers to their learning, living, or maybe it's dietary. And then from there, we determine what is legal and reasonable needs. It is a little bit different than high school just by law. But overall, if a student needs something, we work really hard to find those things. And our faculty do such a great job, our campus in general does, of really trying to eliminate barriers before they're there, right? So even like when you look at our allergen-free food station, that's a byproduct of so many of the accommodation requests that were coming through at the time. Like, okay, well, we have a large population list. Let's make this happen for everybody. And it was an easy fix, a relatively easy fix for their area. Even in housing, the explosion of single rooms, right? So they've been maneuvering and adding more single room options for students on campus. So we see the request, the interactive process, and then we kind of legally will say, okay, this is what you legally can use in your barrier to help with your barriers, whether that's in the housing areas like a single room, dietary, maybe it's a change in their meal plan. And then academically, most typical we see where it's a distraction-reduced environment for tests.
Sure.
Or maybe it's extended time and a half or something of that nature, depending on the disability or medical condition for the student. And then we also have note-taking software. So if a student has a note-taking need, we have what's called Glean, is a software where students will actually record the lecture from the professor and help them maneuver the notes and manipulate the notes from there.
That's wonderful. I actually didn't know about that software.
Yeah, relatively new. We used to have pure note takers.
Yeah.
And we've kind of moved to the software piece.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Gotta love technology.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to get into our lightning round now of the episode. So rapid fire, we've got a minute, and then we'll see if we can get them all done. I'll have Tom start the clock. Okay, so the most influential person in your life?
Oh, man. My son.
Oh.
My son, Corey. Every day, he really, I think that changes once you have kids, right? Pre-kids, it would have been my wife and some teachers and coaches that I've had, but today it's my son and my wife. But yeah.
I love that. Your favorite basketball player?
Oh, current or retired?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Michael Jordan.
Okay. Yep. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Best food in the calf?
Best food in the calf. I've always been a fan of the chicken dipper sandwiches.
Oh, yeah. Describe SNC in one word. Okay. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
To heal.
Oh, very cool. Interesting. I don't think we've ever had anyone say that before.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Is there a reason why?
Just, I see so many of the things that happen in the world. I'd like to, if I could help people heal. I think that is where a lot of our issues stem from.
Yeah. Wow.
As a society.
For sure.
Yeah.
That actually is a good segue into our next segment of the episode. It's our Bible verse of the episode. This week, it's Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5. And I thought this was a good connection with your office. It reads, "Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance." I just thought it was a good connection with how you guys help students succeed in the classroom and in life.
Right. Yes. I think that's a spot on. I think the message that our staff, we share every time we're together is We always put students first, faculty first, staff first, and we try to help anybody that walks into our doors, right? And I think that Bible verse is spot on. We always value human dignity from every walk of life that walks through our doors. And our job is to serve our students, and our faculty and staff, and we're kind of the hub of that. So I think that's a spot on verse. It's a well picked one.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so in closing, if you could give one piece of advice in general to S&C students about succeeding academically in college, not just first-year students, but let's say succeeding in college and then taking that on into life after college, what would it be?
Persistence. You're going to face some adversity. Everybody does. I think in life, adversity makes us who we are. And in college, embrace the adversity a little bit. Take a look at it and say, okay, here's the problem. Let's work our way through. Let's use my resources. No person that has ever been successful has not had help along the way. And sometimes our pride gets in the way. We have to let that go. We all have it. We just have to ask for help. Yeah, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. Now, we don't want too many failures, right? But yeah, it's okay to fail a little bit. It's okay to face adversity. It's okay to maybe have a tough test or a paper that didn't go the way you wanted, or you didn't get the perfect grade. It kind of makes us who we are, and you learn from it.
Exactly.
And embracing that makes you a better human being, I believe.
Absolutely. What is that quote? Is it by Michael Jordan where, like, if you fail, you're not gonna, I can't remember what exactly it is, but I heard it the other day and I was like, that really resonates. Like, failure is how you succeed.
Right. We say it in basketball a lot. There's no such thing as the perfect game. You chase it, right? You chase perfection, like Vince Lombardi used to say, but you achieve greatness, right? So, I've been doing this a long time, and I've never seen a student go all 4 years with 100% in every single class, right? You're going to have something go wrong, whether it's a point or maybe it's 30 points. Maybe it's just a content piece, but learning from that failure makes you better. And when you get out into the work world, you're going to have things that go well, things that don't. You might have a supervisor that's not a great connection. Maybe it's a colleague, whatever. But that resilience, that persistence really will carry you through and make things great.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Corey. If you have anyone, or if you guys know anyone or yourself that would like to come on the show, please email the Tonight Show at snc.edu. That's the number 2. And again, thank you so much, Corey. I think this is really valuable for everyone.
Nope, I appreciate you having me on, Morgan. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome.